Welcome to my channel. I am Zizix, and today I'm going to be talking about some tips to make your way through some of the early game in No Man's Sky. Whether you're thinking about jumping into No Man's Sky for the first time, or you're playing it for the first time in a long time, these are tips to help your playthrough run a bit more smoothly. I want to focus on early game tips to make the most out of this game, largely because I am newly back into No Man's Sky myself. About a month ago, I bought No Man's Sky and booted it up for the first time since 2017, and it has been phenomenal. But there is an absolute shipload of things that you can do in No Man's Sky, and if you don't approach it right, it can be easy to get overwhelmed and discouraged with the game, especially since there's not always a clear direction. The open world and ability to choose your path is one of the great things about No Man's Sky, but until you figure out what there is to do and what you want to do, that freedom can, paradoxically, make it feel like there is nothing to do. So, without further ado, and in no particular order, let's get into it. I want to start off very simple and maybe very obviously here, but from the very start of the game, mine for resources. Early game can be a bit of a grind while you're gathering resources, but mine while you're making your way to objectives. You will get early objectives through the tutorial questline to repair your ship, and some of that does involve mining, but don't just stop at the resources that you need for your next ship or scanner part. Explore a little bit and start creating stockpiles for yourself. Common resources like carbon and ferrite dust are always needed, and if you find plants that give you oxygen or sodium, pick that up whenever you see it as well. These are resources that you will constantly need, and it feels like less of a grind if you're gathering them piecemeal rather than being forced to mine when you have none of that resource in your inventory. Or worse, scrambling for oxygen or sodium when you're about to die and need to replenish your exosuit. As you start to stockpile resources, it won't feel like you constantly need things because you will have them on hand. Next, and I'm still staying pretty simple here, but scan as much as you can once you repair your scanner. Scanning flora, fauna, and minerals will probably be your primary source of income early on, especially if you upgrade your scanner to acquire more units for everything that you scan. In fact, I think that buying an upgrade for your scanner at a space station should be one of the first things that you do so that you can reap the rewards as soon as possible. Scanning also gives you nanites once you upload it to your discoveries tab, so one action earns you both of your primary currencies. Next, follow the main quest lines. And the first one I'm talking about here is the tutorial. There are a lot of systems to learn in this game, so the tutorial is actually pretty important. Whether you're new and need to learn all of the systems, or you're coming back and need to get reacquainted with everything, the tutorial gives you the base knowledge that you need to get through the rest of the game. That leads you into the base computer archives missions. If I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure when the tutorial ends and regular quest lines begin, but the base computer archives is essentially a tutorial for building a base, and it gives you free blueprints for important base parts. You can see some footage here inside my first base, and everything that you can see inside the base was from a blueprint learned in the base computer archives missions. Now, of course, you can gather salvage data and buy every single blueprint that you might need, but getting them for free is nice, and it guides you through the base building process in an easy to digest manner. Eventually, that expands into quest lines to get an overseer and workers in your base, and those quest lines can be good to progress for free blueprints as well. I just learned this after getting a free blueprint from my Corvex friend that I had bought many hours before. Once you get through these quest lines, if you're not sure what to do or what you want to do, follow the main story quests. You can see them divided in your log between primary missions and secondary missions. And yes, if you were wondering, there is a story in this game, and that is where the primary missions come in. Ultimately, you have 3 that you can follow: the Atlas path, the Artemis path, and the Anomaly missions. And each gives you blueprints or technology, other resources, and perhaps most importantly, for some people at least, they give you a general sense of direction if that's what you're looking for. But as you complete these missions, other missions will appear, and so they help you organically progress through the game. So one of the most important pieces with this entire game, especially as you're learning everything, is don't be afraid to accept things as they come your way. The game quietly lays mechanics as your feet as you progress. You will have an opportunity to claim a freighter for free after saving it from pirates. You will have an opportunity to become overseer of a settlement after saving the settlement from sentinels. Both these opportunities open up many new quests and mechanics to explore in the game, and frankly, they're quests and mechanics that you can devote many hours and hours to doing. So accept what you like and disregard what you don't. Maybe you make your way through the story quickly, and maybe you end up on a side quest for hours on end related to these other missions. I'm not trying to tell you how to play the game because I don't think there is a right way, but I think it's important to know that there are many branching paths, and you can always fall back on the main story if you need that direction, or if you just want to see where the story is going to go. Next, claim crashed ships. When you find one, you have some options. Early on, you probably won't have the resources to repair the ship, at least not immediately, but if you repair the launch thrusters and pulse engine, you can then summon it at a space station, where you can either scrap it for money or repair the components so that you can start flying it. If you don't claim the crashed ship, it will be lost forever. As far as I can tell, there's no reason not to claim a crashed ship unless you just don't want the money from scrapping it and won't be using it. If you claim the ship and don't repair the launch thrusters and pulse engine, you won't be able to do anything with it until you get a freighter, where it will appear in your hangar amongst your other claimed ships. Scrapping my first ships more than doubled my units at the time. It is an easy way to make some quick cash, or it is a bit longer process to get a new ship for free, or at least free other than the resources used to repair the ship. Very early on in the game, you might feel impossibly far away from being able to buy anything such as other ships, but scrapping claimed ships can help you bridge that gap. Finally, if you've looked up videos on No Man's Sky, you've probably seen this somewhere, but it's important enough for me to mention. You should make at least 2 stops at every space station that you find. One is the exosuit shop, where you can buy more inventory and technology slots for your exosuit. You can only do it once per space station, but every space station does have it. And as a side note, you can do the same thing in the anomaly for each new system that you summon the anomaly to. The exosuit mechanic is located with the other technology merchants, and the space to upgrade the exosuit is behind the merchant. The second stop at every space station is at the guild merchant in the corner on the second floor. They might not have anything to offer you early on, but as you rank up the guilds, you will get access to rewards that you can claim at each new space station. I have gotten tons of free ion batteries, among other things, because of this. In case you don't know, you can rank up your status at the guilds either through redeeming items that the guilds wants, or completing missions from the mission guide downstairs. The redeemable items vary per guild, but within the guild they never change. So make a note of what they want, and when you find it, come back to the guild to redeem it and rank up. I remember early on saving some pirate transponders for that very purpose. This is just scratching the surface for tips, even for early in the game, but my goal is to reduce some of the friction for very new or returning players as they learn the ropes. These are some of the things that I learned for myself early on, and hopefully they will help some of you as you take your first steps in No Man's Sky. But what do you think I'm missing? What other tips are there that you think are important for other players to know? Let me know in the comments.